So as a woodworker, once in a while you got to get a little bit greasy. You know, I've had this drill press now for I think going on a year anyway. And after I built my table for it, you know, I like the capacity, but it's got a little wobble to it, you know, and I think that's partly because it's way oversized. And you know, when you get out here and grab the edges, you can move it and you can flex it down a little bit. Now, granted, you're not drilling out here, but any movement, you know, is not good. So what I want to do is take and build a base, basically, or a support coming from the base here and running up to the main table underneath. So what I started out doing was I tried to put some T-nuts in these slots, and they won't go. They start, but you can't slide them in there. This one won't even start. So this is basically the before picture here, and this is the after. After taking it out and grinding it on my belt sander, and now I have something I can work with, something that'll move in and out of here, and I can attach these posts to these nuts and put them in whatever position I want, and then tighten them down, and that gives me something to clamp to. So I've got my other set over there somewhere, and I'll get those in here. But what I need to figure out is what I'm going to do and where I'm going to attach it. So I'm kind of winging this, but I'm going to see what I come up with to give this some stability. And I'd like to be out. You can't really see what I'm pointing at up there, but I'd like to be out as further away from the as further away from the center point as possible. So I'll draw a line up here and see where I come in, and then figure out how I'm going to attach to the bottom here, and then bolt it to the base. So I'm not a metal worker, and I, you know, ideally that would be the best thing to do. I know Alan came up with a metal adjustable thread support that worked out really well for him. I don't have that capability, so I'm going to try and come up with something that, as a woodworker, something that'll work. So let me get back to you when I get my plan further developed here. All right, some good news. So I've got that out about, I've got the center line here about 1 inch away from the edge, and then the laser going up falls just about right in the center of these ribs, and I'll show you that here in a second. So now you can see where that laser light is coming. It's just about in the center of these ribs here. So I can use these pockets. I can build some pocket, or you know, some rectangles to go in those pockets, and then a board to fasten to those, and then somehow figure out how to tie it all together down here at the base with my bolts here. So let me get busy and we'll come back. Alright, we're looking at the underside here again. I got two, the four pieces are not exactly the same, so I've got the two inside pieces wedged up in there, and the two outside pieces do not stay, but they fit. You know, they're a little loose. That's okay. So then what I'm going to do then is I'm going to attach this board to those pieces, all like so, and all that's going to do is just give me that little extra mass and keep it from from moving on me. So and this board has got a little bit of a curve to it, and I'm going to use that to my advantage. It goes this way, so I'm going to put the high spot in the middle, facing down, so that when I push up against it, it kind of acts like a spring. So let me get these. Let's figure out how to get these guys attached. I think I might just shoot a brad nail into each of them, or a finish nail to hold them in place, get some marks on the board after I pull it down, and then glue them together. Maybe I'll, on second thought, maybe I'll screw them together first to make sure I've got them exactly where I want them. So let me get going on that. Okay, I got my laser back on here. I just did a friction fit with glue. Put it on there, rubbed them, together until we got a reasonably tight fit. Put it up in here quick, and just this one here moved just a little bit off the line. So I'm happy that it worked out, and you can see that my laser dot is just about dead center of that board, which is also good. And all I did was kind of rough marked it with a pencil mark there, so you can see where that is. So I'm gonna put a better mark on that for center, and then try to figure out something for a post. Okay, here's what I got going on. I've decided that I'm gonna make basically an I-beam here, and this being the top and this being the bottom. And the way I'm going to join these together is just use some poplar. I'll drill and countersink some holes. This plate will be the bottom, and that doesn't have to have any adjustments, so it'll be a shorter one. I'll cut it about here. It'll have I don't know how many, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8 holes on this one, and then 8 on the other side. I may do that differently. I may just do 2 and 2 so that I don't have all these holes in alignment here, running the risk of that splitting on me. I don't think it will, but I'll think about that one. And then up on the top here, I'm showing this piece, butted up against this. Let me show you what I'm going to have in mind here. So I'm showing it butted up, but as I put it together, I'm going to have the same thing going on down there. This will be this is that piece, remember, that goes up into the bottom of the cast iron table, and that's going to sit in the top of this extrusion like this. It's going to slide in the middle, and then I'll marry the two together with another connection plate, but this one will be 4 bolts here and 4 bolts probably down somewhere in here, giving me the ability to adjust this up to where it is now. And if I want to lower my table, I can loosen these bolts, and then this will slide down with the table, and then I can lock it in position again when I establish that new level. So this is how I'll achieve the ability to adjust it up and down with the table. So I'm going to cut these to length. I think these will probably end up being about 16s, and these will be probably like 8s down here. And drill and countersink holes, and then I'll show you how it's going to go together. But this is the bottom joining plate. I know watching holes drill is not the most exciting video, but what I've done here is laid out my lines and this being the vertical and then the horizontals. But this is the bottom, and I don't want to have all 8 of these bolts lined up. I can drill anywhere along this horizontal line that I want, and anywhere along these vertical lines that I want, as long as I'm, on the line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and drill out here, and here, and then I'm going to put one in the center. So that's all that's doing is just going to be holding it tight to that piece of extrusion. These are going to be my adjusting bolts, and they have to be in line. Or I take that back. This is just going to hold the extrusion together too. It's the other one that's going to adjust, but they have to be in line as well. So I'm going to drill 7 in this one, and then 7 in the other one, just kind of reverse order. I'm going to shoot video of this next. Me drilling this next series of holes, but I just realized I need to get some layout lines on this board as well, because I'm drilling off center. I just eyeballed these. So let me get some lines on this one, and then I'll be right back. Okay, the same situation here. I'm going to drill outside these lines, these long lines here, 1, 2, and 1. Or 2 and 1, sorry. But what I want you to watch is the way this thing, once that bit enters the work, the shaking that I'm getting here. And then I want to see if when I get done with this project, if that helps eliminate that. I'm going to get my long pieces and do the same thing, and then countersink everything, and we'll see how it goes together. Alright, I've got it put together temporarily, I guess. So you can see what I've got in mind here. This is going to have 1/2-inch bolt holes in it, so that the stud can run through it, and I can marry it to the base of the drill press like that. And then up on the top, let's see up here, is I've got that board that I made earlier to fill those cavities, fastened to this piece of extrusion. And if I can find my, hang on one second, I gotta find my Allen wrench here. I don't know what I did with that thing. Oh, here? No. There it is. So this gives me the ability now to adjust this. That one's loose. Like so. I've got I'm guessing about 3 or 4 inches of adjustment there. I don't ever plan on lowering my table much more than that. And if I do, I can just take this right out. So when I get the table where I want it, I can make sure that I'm plumb here, and then tighten it up, and hopefully that'll stabilize things. The only way to find out is to do the rest of it and give it a test run. So let me put the rest of it together. I got to drill these through holes through here. I gotta get that measurement, and then we should be good to go. Alright, I drilled the one hole on the other side, but I was having a little laugh because of the irony. I thought that I would have my table set basically where I want it for what I primarily do, which is, you know, drill 3/4 inch plywood or solid wood, whatever the case may be. But because I'm drilling this 3.5 inch plus, you know, it's a little over 3.5 inch extrusion, 80 millimeters to be exact, I had to drop my table. So, you know, just when you think you got everything figured out, why, it comes up to bite you. Anyway, let me drill this hole now, and we'll see how things are going to go together here. Nope, I didn't go all the way through. Alright, I'm going to dump this out and we'll just flip it over and go from the other side here. All right, that looks good. So I'll take this now and fasten it to my eye setup. I guess I'll be able to run my bolts through here, and then we'll see how it works out. But I'll take the camera over to my bench over there and show you how I'm putting this together. Okay, so here's the upper part. I've got that fastened. I don't have it centered yet, but I can do that here later. And here's the bottom part, where this is going to slip in. Now let's see. Might be easier to do this. Let me try it here. Just take this one off. Gotta get these in first. You know, and as long as I'm doing it, I'm going to put 2 more in here just in case I want to put in 4 bolts there. Alright, so that goes like that. Now I can slide this one on. Get these kind of lined up here. Okay, so I'm going to eyeball this for center. About like that. But you can see now what I've got going here. I'm just going to kind of finger tight these. And flip this over. There. So now I'll take this over to the drill press, drop my bolts through here into the T-nuts, and then fasten this. And then first I guess I'm going to raise my table up a little bit, about 3 or 4 cranks I think it was. And then we'll get this thing adjusted and see how it works. Okay, got things ready to go here. I'll clean this off a little bit. And I'm going to bring this out. Got the long bolts. All right, there's that one. There we go. Okay, that'll give me my solid connection there. Just when you think you got everything. All right, let's just do it this way. No, I don't know if I'm plumb or not. This way I am, but I don't know about this way. So I'm gonna get a level. I'll be right back. I can't do any better than that. That's dead nuts. All right. I probably should have a washer in there. Maybe I'll pick some of those up next time I go to the hardware store. Now, the one thing I do need to check here is to see you know, I'd want to put a little tension on this going this way. I'm just not sure how much I want. So I'm just going to pick it up. I'm going to loosen these a little bit here. How can I do this? Well, okay, like I was saying, the load here is being transferred across this piece of extrusion into the upright this way. So I'm going to tighten everything up. The one thing that I think might be a problem here is that this is not fastened together. It's strictly a friction fit, and I can see right now that I didn't tighten my T-nuts to this wooden board. I gotta drop this down and tighten that up, and then push it back up. Let me do that here. Okay, I got everything tightened up. All 8 screws are tight here. These 8 are loose. This down here, I didn't check. What did I do with my tool? There it is. I believe I've got these tight. Yeah. Not that one. Okay, now they're tight. All right. So I'm going to push this up. I did check my drill position, whether it's perpendicular or not to the table. It is this way, but not this way. It's a little off, just a little bit. But the only way I can correct that is to shim this table. I have to shim it on the back, just a fraction. So it's tilting back just a little bit. So I'm going to put this up here, like that. Okay. Alright, everything is tight, except, like I said, I don't have this directly connected to that table, and I may have to do that, but I want to see how it works this way. So let me raise the camera up here, and then we'll give this a little shake and just a firm grip of the table test, I guess. All right, that is rock solid. I mean, I can't move that anywhere near the way I moved it before. I'm extremely happy with the way that works. So I've got to work on my table, you know, squaring up my table, shimming up the back there. But this thing is just rock solid. Let me show you what I'm doing down there. Hang on here. And I'm just kicking that right. And that it's just not moving. And the one thing I will show you too while I'm down here, I guess, is I came up with this method here for making sure that I have it tight. You know, before I was just pushing up on it, but I while I was away there off camera, I grabbed a couple of these big wedges that I have, and I put them in here like this, and then these were loose on the front and the back. I just tapped this over with my rubber mallet here until I got it nice and snug. Then I tightened this up, just pulled this apart. I went to the back side, did the same thing. It just makes for a really snug fit, you know, instead of using just my arm strength to push it up there. And it really snugged it up nice and tight. And I didn't, and then that's why I came back up here. Let me come back up to the top here again. And that's why I came back up here doing this. I didn't want to deflect the table, and it stayed the same. Everything, it's still square this direction, and it's I just have a little daylight this way on the bottom, which tells me that the back side needs to come up just a little bit. So I'm happy with the way that worked out. So let's get a bit in here and see how this thing performs. It's better. Oh yeah. That table is not moving or wobbling, and rock solid. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I am going to like that a lot. That is just, I'm moving the whole thing when I do that. There you go. Let me give you a quick tour of the bottom here and show you again what I've got going on down there. So again, this is that custom piece you saw me make that's got the filler blocks. That's tied to this extrusion through the top. This piece is about 18 inches long, and then it's stitched together with these two pieces of poplar here, front and back, to my vertical piece, which is 18 inches long, and that sits directly on top of this piece on the bottom. So all the load is carried right through to this bottom piece, and these are just keeping it from being kicked out one way or the other. And then I've got it bolted to the base with those T-nuts in the slots of the cast iron base, and that just works out great. Okay, so there you have it. I mean, a nice nice way to make your drill table nice and solid. I mean, it's not moving, and even if I didn't have this on here, I'd still do it to that cast iron tabletop. So, thanks for watching.